C'est parti means est parti. Merci.
Listo.
Allez.
Listo.
Listo.
All right. Hey, we're back. Welcome to Kitchen on Fire. What?
We are live. It's working. Okay.
Olivier was speaking French a moment ago, so I'm glad he's come to his senses. He seems to be back into English. He lapses once in a while. Gets these crazy fits where he speaks French.
I laugh in English. I laugh in English, though.
Yeah.
You know that.
I can laugh in several languages. I've laughed in Italy and everyone understood me. Crazy. So we got stuff to talk about today, and we got some show and tell also.
Yes.
My favorite part is show and tell. We're going to start with a discussion of tomatillos. A student asked, what the heck are tomatillos, and are they just small tomatoes? No, there are no small tomatoes, only small minds. Keep that in mind.
Oh my God.
Tomatillos are somewhat related to tomatoes, and they're both from the nightshade family.
Yeah.
But they're actually more closely related to the Cape gooseberry. They've got that tartness, and most importantly, they're wrapped in that parchment paper-like husk, which is a very distinguished feature of the fruit. Is it a fruit or a vegetable? I think it's a fruit.
No, it is a fruit.
Yeah, good.
Why is that? Because there's seeds in there.
Yeah, I like being right. Yeah, tomatillos, if you let them ripen all the way, they'll get yellow. But most people use them when they're green because part of the appeal is that tart, acid freshness in the taste that's so good in so many Mexican sauces.
Well, that's the thing. Doing tomatillo salsa, it's super easy to do. You should always do it. But
it's my favorite salsa to use for like enchiladas or all kinds of stuff.
Anything. So it's a nightshade family. So nightshades, what are nightshades?
They are an amazing thing because I've never. To me, it seems at nighttime everything's in shade, so I don't get it.
So nightshades are all the peppers, potato, eggplant,
tomatoes,
and tobacco also, which we don't eat, but it's the same family. So they have alkaloids in there that some people have issues with, and they are allergic. They have some allergy to nightshade family, and that comes from a lot of time from the lectins that are in the skin and seeds. That's why you always remove those. Traditionally you always roast the skin, remove the seeds. Look at when in Italy they do pomodoro. Pomodoro is always seeded and peeled.
Right.
That's because that for some people could be a poison or an issue with their joint. Not the joint.
The first nightshades that went to Europe, like the tomato, and people thought they were poisonous. They were afraid to eat them.
Everywhere. Just like tomatoes. So
they say you can use tomatillos raw in salads, but I've never used them that way.
It's very acidic, but it's fine.
I've always just cooked them. When you buy them, you want to buy firm fruit. You want them to be firm, and you want the papery husk on the outside to be very dry and kind of tight. You want it fitted tightly around the fruit. You don't want it to be loose because that means it's not fresh. And the best way to store them is in a paper bag. And if you're storing them for any length of time, you can put them in the fridge. They say for up to a month, but I don't know why you do that. We buy.
Don't. A lot of people ask me, "Can I keep that?" Don't keep that.
Yeah.
Why would you want to keep it? It's like you want to use it. So I want to tell you a little story about potatoes that are really fun. And today we're going to show a few things. And one thing I want to demo is how to make boursin with feta cheese. Can be really cool. And I'm going to show you the dry herbs. But I want to talk about that funny story. You were talking about the tomatoes, James, about the fact that tomato was a poison.
Yeah.
When potato came, it was the same thing. It was a poison. And what happened is, I think it was Louis the 16th, because they came in with Parmentier. It was what, 16, late 1600 anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So what the king did, he planted a lot of potatoes around Paris. And during the day, he had guards guarding the potatoes. And at night, the guard has to go home. So when they go home, all the people because they were trying to have people eat those potatoes because there was no bread. That's one of the main reasons the revolution happened. The main trigger is there was so much little food. I mean, there was so little food in Paris at the time, and no more bread. Once the bread was heat, that was the end, because that was the food. Bread was the food.
Yeah.
And so they introduced potatoes, but nobody wanted to eat that root. So what they did is they had guards guarding the fields during the day to really show, and at night the guard would go home, and the peasants, they would go at night and they figure out how to cook them. It's funny, huh?
That's how you make
you can see how politics, right?
That's how you make something seem valuable, is you guard it with armed guards. They had early 18th century versions of AK-47s.
It's the AK-4.
Yeah. So, eventually people started eating them. And then, of course, people began to depend on them. Like in Ireland, it became a staple food, which was great until it wasn't. It was great until they got a blight on the potato plant, because that's what happens when you have a monoculture, is that if something goes wrong with that crop, you're screwed. And it results
from anybody else, not anybody, all the other plants. Normally, it's an ecosystem that works very well, but when you do monoculture, that's what happens when you overeat. Anyway.
Yeah.
I was going to say overproduction of vegetables, but yeah, that's the same idea.
Yeah.
Cool.
So when you're making a tomatillo sauce, I have a good tool here. You're making any kind of a sauce or a soup that you want to be smooth. And this is another example of a tool that came from the restaurant industry and then was adapted for home use. And it's called a immersion tool.
That is a great tool. Oh, I have the same one in blue.
This is not a sex toy. This is a kitchen tool. Although you buy it, you do whatever you want with it. But it's great because in the old days, I used to make soups and I would want to blend them and puree them, and I would have to ladle them into the blender. And then, of course, you couldn't fit the whole pot of soup in there, so then you pour it into another pot and then fill it up.
Blender is not a good idea, James.
Yeah.
Blender is not a good. I mean, the blender for soup is not a good idea. It's too hot.
Right.
And usually the thing explodes, so it's not a good idea.
Yeah. So this is great because you just stick this right into the pot and you can puree it to any consistency you want. You can do a little or a lot. You can make it very, very creamy. You can make it sort of chunky.
You can make pestos of that.
Pesto.
Really cool.
You can even get it. I don't have one, but you can get an attachment for this that's a whisk, so you can make you can do whipped cream and stuff. Which I make my whipped cream by hand because it's good exercise.
Yeah. So what you were saying before, you buy it, you can do whatever you want with it.
Exactly.
I was going to say, if you buy it, you break it.
Yeah. Well, we don't have.
Is there any other way around?
Once you get this into the privacy of your own home, we ask no questions. So. But it's a very handy tool.
Yeah.
So we have another question from a student that I think was astute. Kind of funny because we've talked about this on the show. The student asked, "Look, I see bar recipes all the time calling for simple syrup, and you guys have mentioned syrup. So what the heck is simple syrup, and where can I get it? Can I just buy simple syrup?" And the answer to that is yes, you can buy it, but why would you? It's so easy to make that it keeps for a very long time. So there's really no reason to buy it unless you're I don't know,
Margaritas. Yes, it is good for margaritas. Absolutely. Actually, we're going to talk about how to make it.
Yeah. So sugar syrup or simple syrup, it's also called sugar syrup, is just that. It is sugar that is cooked in water until it becomes just a thick, clear liquid, and you can make it as thin or as thick as you want.
Yeah.
You can do 3 parts water to 1 part sugar and have a really thin simple syrup.
Right.
2 to 1 makes medium. Usually in the bar business, we use 1 to 1. It makes a heavy syrup, which is great for making drinks. It's used a lot in baking too. It's used in various things to soak little cakes in and things. There's various applications for it. I mainly use it at the bar. And why would you use it? Why would you use simple syrup instead of just using sugar? Well, I'm glad I asked that question because
Sorry, James. Yes. Teach him how to make a good beignet. Yes.
buy a
Yes.
ticket to New Orleans.
How about we do apple beignets like I do in France? Like
Ooh,
apple
good.
beignet. All right. So next week I'll do apple beignet. We have a big week next week. We have Grégoire. He's going to talk with us for half an hour, but I'll find room to make a beignet. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yes.
I bet Grégoire can make a beignet too. We could test him on it. So why do you use simple syrup for drinks instead of sugar? Well, I use both, depending on the drink. Simple syrup is great when the nice thing about simple syrup is that it blends really easily with whatever the drink is. Whether we use it at the bar, we use it for old fashions. We use it in a variety of drinks because it just goes away. It just blends seamlessly with the fruit and the liquor and whatever else in there. I like to use bar sugar sometimes. I particularly like to use bar sugar if I'm going to be muddling something because I think the sugar gives it a little more friction. So if you're muddling mint or fruit, I just think it gives you more to rub down. It's like putting salt in when you're crushing something in a mortar. It just gives you some more grip and some more friction.
I thought you were going to say more things to do.
Yeah, it gives you more things to do. Yes. Now the thing also about sugar, and I think we've talked about this too, is you don't want to use regular granulated sugar at the bar because it just doesn't dissolve very well. So you end up.
It's not a good product anyway. You can't use that. This is made of beet that are disgusting.
Yeah. Well, even if you get cane sugar, it's still it all settles down to the bottom of the drink, and it's not good. So if you want to use sugar at the bar, you need to grind it into a fine powder. So you need to make bar sugar, which is very, very fine. It's not like powdered sugar, but
well, there is a few cocktails that need sugar, like caipirinha needs sugar.
Right.
Because you can't really use syrup for that because you need to grind the lime with the sugar. And for the mojito, you can use both. But I like the mojito with the sugar because you can actually grind the lime.
That mint.
Then the mint, you muddle less. Remember, we did that.
Right. And also, when I make an old fashioned with muddled fruit, which is not always how I make an old fashioned, but people that want the muddled fruit, I also use sugar for that. Whereas we use simple syrup for a regular old fashioned. And also, sugar is good to have at the bar for coating a rim. Like there's certain drinks that we do where we do a sugar frosted rim, like a sidecar, lemon drops. Not my thing. I'm not really into those. They're too sweet.
So
but
you guys need to know something though. The syrup, if it's left outside, it will go bad.
Yeah, you put it in the refrigerator.
So it's not like sugar. Once you cook it, I don't know, it's weird, but it will go bad. The mold will come on it, which is very strange. But anyway.
Well, I think it's because you add so much moisture to it, so it's more likely to grow bacteria. So yeah, you make the simple syrup. And also, when you make the simple syrup, after you make it, you get it the consistency you want. You can also flavor it. You could put mint in it or lemon in it, and just leave it in for a few hours, and then scoop it out, and then cover it and put it in the fridge. So it's good stuff. It's great to have at the bar, and it's very, very easy to make. So make some. We'll do a demo on simple syrup one day.
Oh no, simple syrup is too simple. I mean, it's really too simple. No, but look, listen, it's very easy. It's half water, half sugar. You boil it down, done.
Yeah.
We used to make, remember at Cesar when we first opened in what, 98?
Yeah.
We made our syrup every day.
Uh-huh.
And then the bartender, that was mostly me, I was the bar manager, I had to make the syrup because every day the lines were different, the lime juice.
Uh-huh.
So I would make the simple syrup for the margaritas, and I would do my thing because sometimes in winter the lime didn't taste like anything, so I would put more lime. And the summer were very small, very sweet and flavorful, so I put less.
Yeah.
So every day we do that mix, so it was perfect all the time. It was really good.
Well, I remember we also we would taste the lime juice every day after we'd make it, and if it was too bitter, we would add a little bit of simple syrup to the whole container of lime.
Crazy, huh?
And it wouldn't make it sweet necessarily, but it would take away the bitterness, and it was really good.
So
now, that brings up another topic because I never put simple syrup in a margarita. A lot of people do, but I think you don't need it if you're using Cointreau. If you're just going to use simple syrup alone, that's fine. But if you're going to use a Cointreau or some other kind of orange liqueur, then you don't need to use the simple syrup. It makes it sweet.
It's too sweet. It's better to be actually, it's better drier. All drinks are better drier.
Yeah.
First of all, anytime you add sugar to alcohol, it's very bad. It's actually terrible. So the alcohol plus the sugar is not a good idea for the liver.
It's not good for your hangover the next day either.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's basically it's just like me. It's too sweet.
Too sweet.
Yeah, and even when you make there's a whole category of cocktails called sours. You'll hear a whiskey sour, a vodka sour. That's basically means that it's a combination of a sweet element with a sour element. And the sour element is typically citrus, whether it's lemon or lime. And the sweet can be whatever. It can be a liqueur, it can be simple syrup, it can be sugar. But anytime you combine sweet and sour in a cocktail, it should be very, very well balanced. It should not be too sweet and it shouldn't be too sour. In fact, if anything, I like it a little more on the sour side. So you want to be careful with those drinks. You can make a drink too sweet very fast. And although some people like them, I think it ruins the drink.
Yeah, so not too much sugar.
You also want to taste the base spirit. So that's all I have to say. I'm sorry. I have my opinions and I'm sticking to them. I have a bread baking.
Big question.
Sandwich bread loaves. They stick to the bread pan even though it's grease. The pan, I let it cool once the bread came out too moist on the bottom. If I take it out too soon, after it sticks to the pan on the bottom and sides.
I think that bread is not cooked enough.
That would be my guess. Also, have you tried lining it with parchment paper?
Well, she wants to cook it on the saute pan. Right?
Oh.
Is that what I understand?
Well, she says a bread pan. Removing it from a bread pan, you could line it with parchment, and that makes it easier to get out. Of course, then you got to get the parchment off the bread. But it sounds to me like it's either undercooked or.
No. I'm sorry, I didn't read. Okay, because you know what? It's all in English, so it took me a little bit of time to translate in Russian.
Yeah.
And the parchment. Yeah, the parchment will actually take care of it. So what happened is that dough, there's two ways of doing it. You can either have a hot pan, so put that pan in the oven before you put the bread in. Then you put the pan in, it's going to sear. But if you put that wet dough on the pan, it might just stick first, then cook.
Right.
And Jessica is a nurse. Jessica, yay!
Yay, nurses.
All right, so what she say? What?
That one.
Good, yeah.
The one that was moist ended up good. Oh, sorry.
So the moisture is, so what the moisture does on the bread cooks and the steam goes from the inside out.
Right.
When you put water in the pan or next to it, or you spray with water, that water literally explodes on the outside and project temperature inward. It's pretty cool. And that's how you get that crust is the...
Very nice.
Prod.
It has to proof in the pan, though. Yeah. Yeah, so you want to, if she's proofing it in the pan, then it can't be a hot pan.
Okay, so then you need to put it out, change pan, put something under, and go back in the oven. You know, because that dough is going to stick. I mean, there's no other way around. Or you proof it with the parchment.
Or prod it.
Good job.
Depends on what you want to do. You could prod it or you could proof it.
Yeah. I want to see the proof of that.
Yeah.
All right, should we make some boursin?
Yes, let's make some boursin.
And then we'll go back to, I think you have some history quote or something?
Yes. I have some more tools, too. Look at these. These are 2 bar tools.
Well, let's talk about those bar tools.
These are, this one's called a stripper. And although you've seen strippers in Vegas, this one's different. This is cool. This one's called a zester. So the zest is the colored part of the rind of a citrus fruit. So this one with the little tiny holes is for taking off little tiny thin strips of citrus, and that's usually what you do in baking. Sometimes you can use it to decorate a cocktail, certain cocktails if you want. A lot of times I used to do that. I would take strips of zest and then I would just take my knife and chop them up. That was before I learned you could use a grater and simply grate the zest right over the dish that you're doing, which is a little easier. This one, the stripper, is like a channel knife. So this one, and sometimes they're sideways. This happens to be a vertical one. And what you do is you drag it over the citrus and it takes off a nice long, but a thicker piece of the peel. And that's great for doing garnishes on cocktails. So you take a strip of that, that's called a twist. And you say, I want to drink with a twist, that's a twist. And usually we roll it up into a little coil and give it a pinch and pull it out so that it looks like a little piggy tail. And then you drop that in the cocktail. It's very nice.
So when you order a second drink, you said you want to twist again?
I want to twist again like we did last summer. Oh, no, that's the song.
So
yeah.
I know...
Stripper.
Okay, so I know we talked about that earlier, but I'm going to tell you quickly what's so good about the lime or citrus skin. In the skin, there's incredible nutrients. There's something called limonene, which a lot of people know already, a lot of cool stuff. It's a very strong antioxidant that binds with catechin from the tea. That's why tea, especially green tea and lemon, is a fantastic idea because of that combination. It creates a new compound.
Green tea with lemon.
Yeah.
Green tea with lemon.
Not green tea and milk. That's not a good idea.
No.
Actually. Okay. So in the skin, there's something also that I really like that very few people know about. It's called hesperidin. I talked about that. This is there's a lot of hesperidin in all citrus skin, in parsley, and some in the cocoa. So it's not very widely found, but specifically in citrus skin. That's why it's very good to eat those. And when you drink that in a cocktail, remember when you drink alcohol, you drink a poison, which is it's okay. I'm just saying that's what's happening. So when you put lime or lemon zest or anything of that, it does affect in a good way. It's not like it's going to change the drink. But this is important to understand. Lots of nutrients every day, all the time, makes you healthier in general.
Well, it's interesting to think that some of the classic cocktails were invented in places where they naturally had citrus. Like, for example, the daiquiri and the mojito were both
And Brazil, what about Brazil?
in
Caipirinha.
Brazil with the caipirinha. So these are places that had a lot of sugar, they had a lot of limes, and rum was the drink of choice. So these drinks naturally evolved, and there was probably some natural wisdom there of putting the citrus with the rum to make it healthier.
Yeah.
So who knows? Also, if you're gonna do a twist for your cocktail, like I talked about, a really good thing to remember is to do it right over the drink, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna spritz all these essential oils out of the peel that are gonna sort of spray over the surface of the cocktail, and it's gonna go a long way to flavoring that cocktail, especially if you're doing something like a vodka martini and you want it with a lemon twist. It's great to do the twist over it, because you're just going to have this nice little shower of lemon on the drink. It's very good.
Beautiful, great flavors. And you can use that for baking. Same idea. When you do baking and you need zest, or for soups, when you put that, you know what's great also, you put that into your ground meat to make patties. That's phenomenal. You can orange twist. I make a kids class. I have teen camp right now for the whole week, online, virtual. And one of the one of the recipe is a turkey meatballs. I mean a turkey burger with orange zest, and it's very good.
I like to put orange zest in basmati rice too when I cook it. I put it in the rice.
Yeah.
And I saute the rice a little bit before I add the liquid, and it gives it a nice perfume.
Hey, James, can you remind me if I already showed that the boursin? Did I already show that?
You did not.
Sure. Okay.
Positive.
So I'm going to work with feta. Get that water away.
What is that?
Feta.
Oh, feta.
It's a French feta made of sheep. I need sheep, something sheep. Okay. All right, that's my feta. I cut the water away. Plastic. And I'm going to talk about two things at once. I have fresh herbs. This is what I do with my herbs. When I have too much of it, I put them on a tray and dehydrate them. This is my oregano. My thyme.
Is that like a screen? Is that like a mesh tray?
Yep.
Very nice. Now, what if you don't have a dehydrator?
So you can leave it just like that, literally like that, for a couple of days outside. It's good, huh?
Yeah.
It'll dry. Yeah, it's dry. All right. For boursin, I'm going to use oregano, let's say. So remember, this is dried down, okay? So I'm just going to get those guys. Okay, we're going to mash all this. We're going to keep. We're going to do a bunch of stuff. So you break them away with your fingers. Okay, so get those. Break it. So you release the oil. We're going to mash it more anyway. Okay, break it away. Put a lot in there. Okay, lots and lots. The more you put, the more nutrients you get, right?
Right.
Some time. So the time, ready?
You have the time?
Yes.
It's about 3:30.
Ready?
Uh-oh, froze. Oh, there we're back. No.
Good. Keep doing that. Okay, keep doing that. So I'm putting a bunch of herbs in there, okay? You can put fresh herbs, absolutely. No worries at all. Those were fresh and now they're dry. It's a cycle of life. You go old and you dry, right? Okay. I have this thing now. I'm just going to clean up all the stem. Okay, awesome, beautiful. going to put some garlic. So I like garlic. And when I make this dish, this is more like I'm not going to say it's a medicine, but it's a kind of a healing cheese. So it's not a healing thing, because once you eat cheese, you create bacteria for your throat. It's not a good idea. But I'm going to put so much garlic. I eat that a little bit every day. So it's my way to eat garlic without eating the garlic by itself. That's all. All right, so I'm going to remove the top and the bottom of the garlic. So I'm going to do all of this. Okay, so just remove whatever is not ready. And I'm going to put that in my blender. And I'm going to chop it, rough chop. Okay, I'm going to put all these guys. Good. And then I'm going to mash that.
Mm-hmm.
So, James, I need 5 minutes. So just give me 5 minutes.
Yes.
Just you can talk about.
Okay. I'm going to talk about another bar tool.
And then we're going to finish that together.
I'm going to talk about another bar tool.
Yes.
Here we go. This is called a Boston shaker.
Oh yeah, right. That's funny, this name. Huh? Never understood.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I'm back. Okay. I think I keep getting frozen out here.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Here we go. This is called a Boston shaker. It's.
You're freezing. You're freezing. Okay.
There, I'm back.
I'm ready for my next. This is cabbage. You guys.
Okay.
Cabbage. I'm going to put my garlic on. Okay. Mix. So I'm going to mix that. So chop. Okay. Chop. As much as you want. I would keep it kind of not too big, huh? Perfect. I usually work my knife, but I don't want to. I cook all morning. Okay? Yeah. Woo. Oh my god. Insane.
Is the texture much different when you do it in the blender?
No, it's the same exact one. I didn't want to dirty my table right now. I want to go get going because I have another thing right behind that, so I'm going to keep clean. I'm going to put some oil in there. I need a bunch of oil. Okay. My olive oil disappeared.
Uh-oh. The case of the disappearing olive oil.
All right. And boom! And here we go. You think that's going to be good? Yes.
I don't know. I'm going to
So
wait and see.
why do I put oil in there? Few reasons. The first reason is that thing can go bad for a long time. Oil will protect it. Okay? It tastes really good. Much more malleable on bread. And I can eat that, and this will keep very well in the fridge. Way better than no oil. Okay? Wow. And that's my ghost.
Unlike some people, it's so bad.
So it's not really a ghost, this is way better. But man, this is way, way better. And all that garlic makes you basically, you can eat your garlic, a lot of it, which is very important right now. You should eat garlic all the time. Wow, look at that. Just with a fork. See how easy that was? Right?
Yeah.
That's it. And my boursin is done. So it's not exactly a boursin. This is way better. But anybody that's had boursin before, it's so amazing. Okay, I can add parsley to that.
You could add citrus too, couldn't you?
Yep. So guess what type? Get what part of the citrus? Yeah.
I'm gonna guess the zest.
Oh man, how to zest? Ready? I need to show you a couple of things. The sticker needs to go.
You don't zest the sticker?
Try not to. How to zest a lime or lemon? This doesn't move. Goes under. The lemon rotates. And I can see exactly how much I need, you see? And then, well, since I need the whole thing, I'm just going to use everything.
And how do you stand on zesting the ends of your fingers?
Well, you don't, because you don't go like this.
Right.
You don't move that hand. The blade hand doesn't move. Only the lime, the lemon or the lime or whatever. Okay? You can put lemon in there if you want, a little bit. Don't put too much liquid though. Okay? I want to keep fat only, so don't put too much liquid. The lime zest is going to be good, lemon zest, and keep the lemon juice for something else. You can maybe squeeze a little bit, but don't put so much water in the cheese. Okay? Cool?
Save the lemon juice for the cocktail you're going to make to go with the boursin.
Well, keep that lemon to do something with it. Don't throw it away. Nice. Cool. That's it.
And you could put that on some toast. You could put that on a cracker. You could put it on vegetables. You could just use like pieces of carrot or slices of radish to scoop it up.
What I do with this is I put them in a container, cut them really well. Then I'm going to make a roasted d'anchois. Those are a nice levain bread, grilled, garlic. On a bowl, I'm going to put vinegar, garlic, and anchovy. And I'm going to put a bunch of parsley and put that on the bread, put that on it.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Agreed.
Very good. Now, you can use other kinds of cheese too, right?
Huh?
I mean, you could use other kinds of cheese. You could do it with goat cheese.
You can do goat cheese. You can do anything fresh and soft like this. I like the feta because of the quality. I like the feta. It's a sheep. It's extremely good for you. It's not as problematic as the cow milk. I do like cow milk. A lot of people like it. So
you could even do it with blue cheese, couldn't you?
Oh yeah.
You might want to add a little bit of honey to it if you were doing it with blue cheese. A little honey and the olive oil. And even the zest. I think the lemon would be good with the blue cheese.
Yeah, sure.
If you were doing a party, you could do two different ones. You could do one with feta and one with blue cheese, and decide what they want to do. Very nice, very nice. Well, let me get back to my.
Sorry, chef. Yes, I have. Yeah, go.
Let me get back to my Boston shaker here. This is probably the most basic tool at the modern bar. Now, unfortunately, I don't have one here to show you, but there's a new one that is basically it's all stainless steel. So the other cup would be just like this one, only it's a little smaller. The benefit of the glass is that you can see what you're doing you can see the ingredients as you're building it up. So if you're measuring exactly, which you probably should do if you're making cocktails, then it doesn't matter if you have glass. In the old days, we measured everything out by eye, so I could tell how much stuff.
How many ice goes in there? You mean?
Yeah, you put yeah. And
eyes, like that's an 8 eyes.
I would know that if this had ice in it and the liquid content was halfway up, then I know that's one drink. But nowadays we measure everything, so we just do it all in stainless steel. What I like to do the glass with is if I'm stirring a drink. If I'm making a Manhattan, or a gin martini that I'm going to stir, then this is better. The glass is better, I think. And also, if you're going to...
And it's cool to see that shaking. You can actually see when the ice is melting too much, you can actually feel it. Yeah.
You put these together, shake it like this. You can shake it like this. You can shake it like this.
You can go like this.
Do it over your head. You can do whatever you want. And then I usually pour it from the glass. If you're going to try to do 2 drinks out of one, I have found that it's easier to pour from the metal than it is from the glass.
Yeah.
And typically then you put a strainer on it like this. So it holds the ice back, so you can just pour the drink out either into a martini glass or over other fresh ice.
You can put it in the mouth also.
Also, if you're going to muddle, if you're going to do a drink that has mint in it, like we do a couple drinks at the bar that we start with mint and sugar and citrus, but it's shaken, do it in the glass because it's a lot easier to get it out of here than it is the metal. The metal becomes a mess and you have to really stop and clean it out. The glass, you can usually just pitch out all that residue in the glass and it's much easier. There's also now the fancy bartenders, and I've come to like them very much. They have these kind of like, they look like laboratory beakers, and they're straight-sided. They're wider than this. They're about this much wider than the bar glass, and they're really great if you're stirring drinks, particularly if you're doing more than one at a time. Am I out? Did I freeze?
No, you're good. I can see you, James.
So yeah, the beakers are great because it gives you more room to play around. And if you're doing more than one, like if you're going to stir 2 martinis at a time, the beakers are great. If you try to do 2 martinis in this, it's a little much. It's
James,
your glass is going to be full of
my microphone is
over the sides.
So I'm going to do a quick switch, okay? James. All right, I'm out. I'm changing my...
I can see you now. You're changing your microphone?
Yes, sir.
Very good. I can still hear you.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Oh, well, great.
But I've installed microphones all over your kitchen, so I can always hear you. I probably shouldn't have told you that.
I would have, yeah. I'm always surprised how you know all this stuff.
Yeah. They're all over your house, too, so just beware what you say about me. So I'm also, since we're on the subject of spirits and cocktails, I thought I'd talk a little bit about the water of life. When Good. When distillation first came to be, especially when it reached the Latin-based countries, it was always known as water of life. It was considered a really healthy thing. It was considered something that was medicine, that could cure all kinds of ailments. And you talk about alcohol being a poison, which it is technically.
I never said that.
Oh. But you got to remember that a lot of medicines are kind of toxic too. I mean,
so true. Exactly. Yes. Thank you.
Take too much of some medicines, it's really bad for you. If you take it when you don't need it, it can be bad for you. So alcohol is this kind of almost a toxic substance, but it was considered very health-giving, and so it was called the water of life. Now in Latin, that translated to aqua vitae, which means the exact same thing. And that phrase got translated throughout Europe into different forms. So in France, of course, it's eau de vie. And there's a whole range of fruit-based brandies and spirits called eau de vie. There's aquavit in Scandinavia, which is exactly the same thing.
Oh, I thought aquavit means quick water.
Right. I'm hella thirsty. And then there's uskibau, which is the Gaelic translation of water to life, and uskibau eventually got morphed in, as the English started using it. It got morphed into, first it got shortened to uski, and then it became whiskey. And that's where whiskey came from. And in Russia, It's Zezneniaya voda, is water of life.
Are you sure about the accent, right?
No, not at all.
If we have some Russian people listening, they need to.
Yeah, any Russians out there, feel free to correct my pronunciation in your otherwise beautiful language that I've just butchered. There's a line in Sophie's Choice. Meryl Streep plays Sophie, and at one point in the movie, she's saying something, and she goes, "Oh, what language I am butchering now?" And anyway, that got shortened to vodka, which is vodka, and that again, life. Vodka literally means little water, but it's a diminutive form of that whole phrase, Zizneniaya voda. So all of these things are based on water of life. It's very interesting, and I believe it.
You believe of life? You believe life? Yeah.
I believe in life, and I believe life too. So why wouldn't I believe in water of life? You know.
So the poison, yes, most ingredient used can be either poison or healer. Yes, we know that.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good point.
But
those make the poison, and the dose make the healing.
I think alcohol is a good thing. I think a little bit of alcohol at cocktail time every day is good.
I completely agree, my friend. Yeah.
It's good for reducing those levels of stress.
Yes, exactly. And it's actually it's not bad, really.
It's the overconsumption that's bad. And
so people ask, we have a lot of people that we deal with. There's a lot of cancer, a lot of people like this. But a lot of the question is, people say moderation in everything. Well, I say moderation in everything, yes. Moderation is good, except moderation. So my point is this. If you don't eat like in excess, so the moderation is not something that you should remember. What you want to remember is the excess. Excess is way too much. That is not good for, it could be anything. It could be meat, water. You drink too much water, that's not good. Okay? Yeah. Excess of everything is not good.
Apples. Can't eat too many apples a day. It's not good for you. So anything that normally you would think of as good and healthy.
So I love strawberries. But if I eat 4 cases of strawberries, I'm going to spend my day in the bathroom, right?
Yeah.
They're good for me. The strawberries are great for me. But 4 cases, bathroom.
Strawberries always speak very highly of you too. So
the one that speaks. There's a lot of one, they don't say anything. They don't want to say anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think alcohol is good. And, we all overindulge once in a while in everything. Occasionally I eat too much meat or occasionally I drink too much. But as long as you don't do it on a consistent basis, if you overdrink every day, yes, that is a bad thing. And you probably won't live very long. Or at least you won't remember it.
Yeah, that's right.
So
we did a whole book on bamboo. It's too bad, it's a long time ago, but we talked about all these histories. And, yeah, I don't think people can find it anymore. No,
it's a very clever name, the bar. And Olivier did this drawing of the martini glass. Do you remember
the story of the cover?
Yeah, I remember how many times you drew this before you.
No, we had a designer, and we had a bunch of people working on the cover. And cover after cover after cover, the publisher was like, I don't know, it's not great like this. And meeting after meeting, and everybody's getting very frustrated. And one day I go to the meeting, we go to the meeting together, remember? And I go like this, right, let's do this. And then they're like, oh, that's great.
Yeah, some of the designs they came up with were really bad.
On the boom, martini dog. I put an olive first, but then they said no. Let's put the. Actually, we keep the olive. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a funny
title too. It's called It's called A Spirited Guide to Cocktail Alchemy. Took me a long time to come up with that. I struggled with a lot of things, but it's a great little book.
Yeah, it was good.
Olivier did all the photography, and he did all the little drawings too. It's just full of little drawings that are really interesting, and trying to find one here to show. I can't find one now.
Why?
But really great photographs. Here's somebody starting to make an old fashioned. Great picture.
Oh yeah.
It's a great little book. It's got a lot of good information. I mean, there's probably a lot of stuff I would update about it if we were going to do it now, because there's so many more things available and certain things have changed. And but I think it's still a good book. It's sadly out of print, but
The song was really good. Yeah.
it won't. That doesn't stop me from trying to sell it. You can still get it on Amazon.
Can you still get this book, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Really?
You might even be able to still get it from 10-speed, but I know you can.
No,
still get it on Amazon.
I think they have no more of anything, right? Because we were trying to get the César book.
Right. Yeah, I don't think they have any of these left, but you see them on Amazon all the time. I see them in used bookstores occasionally. I think it's a good thing that I don't see them in bookstores very often, because that means people have kept them.
Yeah, right.
But who knows?
All right.
And then the César book too. I see this on. You can get this on Amazon too. This is out of print, but
Yeah.
it's a great book. The spine looks like the tile work inside César. Anybody that's been to César would
Do you remember how many tiles we put in?
yeah, we had an We're back.
Sorry.
There we're back. I was showing
my God.
everybody. I was showing everybody this is the title page of the book, and it's one of your little drawings of the back bar.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, very
That's
cute.
cool.
There's a whole bunch of those. And you'll notice that Jackson Brown did our forward, which was very
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
He was an investor in César. And I saw him recently. He was at Richard's memorial service out at Greenway, and I sat with him.
I saw that. I recorded that song. It's beautiful. It's on the song I have it on my. I need to send it.
I liked that he didn't sing his own song. He sang somebody else's song, but applied it to Richard, and it was very cool. One of the founders of César passed away last December, and we had a big memorial service for him out at Craneway, which is a big, huge event space out in Richmond. It's an old Ford motor factory, and I was asked to. Richard's wife asked me to MC the event, which I did, which was very fun. And Jackson sang, and there were some other people there. But I sat with Jackson and his wife all night, and I got to know him a little better. He was a really nice guy. We had a nice chat, and a very, very interesting fellow.
James, we have 5 minutes. Okay, so finish what you were going to do, and we need to introduce next week also, because we have a bunch of stuff going on.
Right, that's also, what I wanted.
We
are going to start. We're hoping to start having guests on the show every week. We've had a few guests on already, but we're going to start having guests next week. We're very happy. Gregoire is going to join us. Gregoire has a takeout business that he created in Berkeley quite a few years ago. He's been around for what? More than 10 years, probably.
Well, when So Grégoire is next door, and I don't remember exactly when, but I remember when my big son Archie
Right.
he didn't go to school anymore. He was 15 and a half, and every time I went to school to Berkeley High, I could never find him. So I found him in the park, smoking and stuff. And so I went to get him, and I put him to work. And I went to Grégoire and I said, please take my boy because I don't want him to be in the street. And he took him to train him, and that was his beginning. And Archie has been doing very good on all the job. Yeah, he's a party, whatever. He likes to have fun, but
he's a great man, though.
He's always kept his job. And the funny thing is, I've always got some really good recommendation for all the people I send him to work. People were always really happy. What a cool, that was cool, huh? And Grégoire was his first job, and he nailed it. And I said, please don't let him, I don't want him to be in the street. He's not going to school, too bad. He's going to go work, and that's it. I don't want him to hang out with his friend. And he did, and that was great. Thank you, Grégoire.
Yeah, everyone I've talked to
next week about this story. That's funny, actually.
Everyone I've talked to says they love working with Archie. They said most of them say they wouldn't hire you, but Archie they would hire anytime.
That's not how they say it. They say you're talking about firing.
So anyway, next week we're gonna have Greg. He started one of the coolest takeaway food I've ever seen. He's a classically trained chef.
Yeah,
he cooks at the Ritz over in the city.
Yeah.
And he decided to do this because it was more fun. And so his food is amazing, and it's all to go. I think he has some benches out front for people that want to sit there, but it's basically to go. Really great business. So join us next week. We're going to have in upcoming weeks, we're going to have a really interesting pate maker. Hopefully we're going to have a butcher, a baker, and a candlestick maker over the next 2 weeks.
Not the same day. And we have, I asked my buddy from Semi-Freddy, he should be able to come next week, the week after.
Maybe he can answer the questions about the bread pan and the sticking bread.
Yeah, Jessica, we're going to have a good baker. I mean, also Michael Kennedy is going to be, our baker is going to be there also.
And we're going to have a variety of chefs, food manufacturers, maybe some cookbook writers. Get some people to join us. So we got a lot of guests coming up. We're going to try to have a guest on every week for at least the first half hour of the show. So that's something.
At least for the first week.
Yeah. We were going to put them all on the same day, but we thought it might be hard to get everyone to talk. So we'll just do one at a time. Thought that might be better. And we're looking forward to that. It's going to be great. We're going to get a lot of interesting folks on because we know a lot of interesting folks. And I'm talking, they're even more interesting than us. I know that's hard to believe, but some of them are more interesting than us.
Yeah.
So
you were going to finish with something, James? Or did you have to? No.
No, I'm done.
I thought you had the thought that I cut you off. I did cut you off, and that felt really good. But
I wish I was better set up here to do demonstrations. I'd love to do some stuff with cocktails and stuff, but we're at some point we're going to be in the same kitchen together again.
Yeah.
And then we can do a lot of fun stuff.
What you can do, maybe you can go to César in the afternoon.
Well, that's an idea.
César is literally right behind that wall.
That's right. Except down, you're up above, I'm down below. Yeah.
All right, cool, guys. This is awesome.
Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us this week and every week. We'll be back next Monday. Like I said, we'll have a special. We're going to do more.
Next Monday, we have to do the beignet, though.
Oh, beignets. I'll look forward to it.
So I'll have a recipe for whoever's interested in that. It's for Cléopatra. So we'll do that. We'll do a nice little French beignet. It's a beignet aux pommes.
Nice.
It's really, really cool. So it's going to be needed some frying oil, buttermilk, all this stuff. But I'll put the recipe up that day.
Great. Beignets are great. They're so light and delicate and
Yeah.
tasty. And
There's a trick to cook them, and that's what we're gonna do.
all right, I like
Good
tricks.
job.
I like.
All right, people, very good.
Thank you for joining us. Everybody stay
Thank you,
safe.
James. All right, good.
See you next week.